week? Or?
He's still a chance. We haven't made a decision just yet. He trained on Saturday, trained really well, and he's been training for the last couple of weeks, looking sharp, pulling up well. We're in the middle of those discussions now. We'll see how our training goes again tomorrow, and we'll know a bit more before Thursday, but we want to make sure we get all those facts in place before we make that final decision on whether he plays or not. And obviously Lance has a big say in that as well.
What does he need to do at training between now and then to convince you that he's right?
Oh, it's just not so much between now and then. It's more about just looking at his total workload and understanding what he's done and what he needs to do to play this week, next week, the week after, and the season itself. So it's always ongoing, those discussions with our medical staff, our conditioning staff, and Lance. It's just understanding all of that goes into the mix of him being ready to play this week, and it's not just necessarily about what he does on the training track this week.
Dan Menzel, how's he doing?
Look, he's tracking along pretty well as well, so he's not far away from Lance in regards to his preparation as well, so he's maybe just slightly behind Lance in that regard, but not far. So we'll make sure we have that discussion. We need to be smart in how many of those guys we play as well, just to understand it's round one, it's going to be hot, it always is, and we want to make sure our team's fit and ready to go.
With regards to Lance, has he given you any indication? Is he knocking on your door saying I want to play or anything at this stage?
Well, he's not knocking on my door, but every time I've walked past him, he's had a smile on his face, thumbs up, and I'm ready to go. So it's those discussions. He's got a great track record of understanding his own body, but now we're obviously at the pointy end as far as making that call, and we'll make that call when all the facts are in front of us. Training tomorrow, training Thursday, seeing how he pulls up from that. So when all the facts are in front of us, we'll make that decision, and he's obviously going to play a big part in that.
Will it make his chances of playing on the weekend hinge on the fitness of other players, or will he be considered in his own right?
It's all in the one mix when you're picking a team. It's not just one in or who's out. It's all in the one mix. He's right in that selection frame, absolutely. I mean, he's had a very strong pre-season. He's been able to hit the scoreboard, create contests in our front half, really provide us a target, another marking target, but also good on the ground. So he's still learning the game. He's still understanding what it takes at senior AFL level, but he's tracking along pretty well. So he's a chance for this week.
Matchup wise, what are you expecting from the Dogs, and what's the sort of the plan for the game?
Well, they've had a couple of changes as well over the pre-season. They've had a couple of games where they've tried a couple of different things, whether it's in the ruck or whether they look at the replacement for Morris down back. So I think all of us are still finding that rhythm as far as our best team. We had a couple missing last week as well that we'd want to get back in the team. So those decisions will be made from both ends, both us and the Bulldogs. I'm sure all teams round one will be looking at just what their best team looks like. But we also have to be mindful of it's not just about round one for teams and players coming back in. It's making sure that round one's important, rounds two, round three, they're all important. Just that big focus is always about who plays round one, whereas it takes a squad to play 23 games of football, finals games. It takes a squad to do that, and you need to be aware of making sure that your players are in the best shape to be able to maintain their intensity over that entire season, not just round one.
Is there anyone who played in JOT games that wouldn't be considered that had any kind of fitness issues there?
Look, Kieran Jack's coming back into that mix as well. As far as when he's ready to play, he's been training quite well over the last few weeks. You'd say that Lance at the moment is probably the one that's most relevant in that discussion as far as playing this week. And as I said, they'll be. It's important win to pick the best team this week, but no less important next week or the week after. And so they're all important.
How's that Jenny pulled up well from that ankle?
Yeah, look, he's okay. He didn't train Saturday. He probably won't do a lot on Tuesday as well, but he'll look to train Thursday. So hopefully he's able to get through training on Thursday and be right to play.
Josh, welcome to new addition to the family.
Yeah.
What's his schedule been like over the last few days, training wise, and what will it be like this week?
Yeah, not much different. He trained on Saturday. He wasn't here on Friday. Obviously had the birth of his lovely baby daughter, so he wasn't here on Friday. Trained Saturday, trained really well. We'll be here this afternoon, and business as usual with Josh. But he's in a great frame of mind. Just had his second child, he and Anna, so they're absolutely over the moon. And Emilio is ready to go, the older brother. So it's fantastic.
You're not tempted to give him a week off, rest him, come back round 2 or anything?
Why is that?
Just asking for some friends in Melbourne.
Oh, no, not that I know of. If I went to Josh, he hasn't come to me asking for a week off, but if I went to Josh and said you've got to have a week off, he might have other thoughts. So I think I'll leave that up to Josh. I'm pretty sure what his answer will be.
All those guys like Reid, Melican and Mills that missed a lot of footy last year, are they cherry ripe and ready to go for round 1?
Yeah, it's we missed a number of players for good chunks of the season last year, and Melican has certainly had a strong pre-season as far as minutes played, and he's still working on getting his game to that level that we know he can play at. He's had some really good time to do that over the pre-season. Reedy has had was a little bit limited last week. He was a little bit cooked before the game, but he's pulled up really well afterwards. He's back training, so he's right to go, which is great. And Mills has obviously had a really strong pre-season. So those guys that miss large chunks, there's really only Naismith that's not back in the equation. So they're 4 pretty important players for us, and hopefully they're all right to go.
Alistair Clarkson was on SEN this morning just talking about the runner rule, wanting more clarity. Where are you sit with it, and where are the coaches at and where are you at?
Well, personally, I'd like the runner to stay. I understand it's not going to, and in what form that looks like. We haven't received anything from the AFL other than the rule as it stands, which is no runner until a goal's kicked. So that's what we're working off, unless we hear any different.
So do you want more clarity from the AFL? Where do you think there needs to be more, and
well,
how it's going to work?
We're working off, at the moment, no runner until we hear otherwise. So we're only a few days away from football starting on Thursday night, but that's how we're working it.
With those injured guys that have come back in, we've also got Thurlow and Clark.
Yeah.
Blakey's a new sort of face. This team could be a pretty different looking one to one that finished last year.
Yeah, it will be, and we've made some significant changes over the last 3 years. Our debutants over that period of time have played the most amount of games in the competition. So we've changed the team a lot over the last 3 years, and that will continue to change, and that's exciting for us. We think that we've added some fresh talent to our list over the last 3 years that have not only come in and played, but according to the games played over that period, have played significant roles in our team. And we'll see some fresh faces again, no doubt, this week and going forward. We really believe in giving those boys an opportunity to come in and add to our team, and also understanding that whoever doesn't get picked this week, it usually takes 33, 34 players over the course of a season to play significant roles in the weekly performance of the team to be able to get through. And so once again, this week's important, but they're all important.
You used O'Leary and Ruck in the last game that Sinclair was being managed. Is Sinclair right to go now?
Yeah, Sinclair was fine last week. We just didn't want to risk him. Our ruck stocks were a fraction thin last week going into the game with some injuries, and so we didn't want to take that risk. He's been training fine, so we'd imagine he'll be right this week. It was great. The bonus coming out of that was to see how Lear went and provide some real zip around the contest, some jump at the centre bounce, and get plenty of the ball as he's running forward. So we were pleased with the way he went.
What happens this week with the guys that aren't playing? Is there a need for a scratch match?
Yeah, so our boys will have a hit out this week, and like they did on the weekend, and so that's important this time of the year to keep them informed.
And talk to us about that evolution. When you took over, there was a lot of the old guard of the Swans, and the last few years we've seen so many new, fresh faces. What's it been like being part of this evolution of the Swans?
Well, we've done it a few times over the course of the journey, and first of all, when I first started, we were doing it. We were going through a period of losing some great talent, past talent of players like Craig Bolton and the like when I first took over as coach, going into compromised drafts, and since then we've continued to evolve the list, and as all clubs have done, but we've been able to bring on some young talent a couple of times, and we're doing it again, which is important. We're excited by it. Hopefully the supporters are excited by it, but we still need to go out there and deliver. we still want to be competitive. We still want to win every week, and so we need to try and get that balance as best we can. We're not going to get it right every week, but it's exciting. It's exciting being able to be in a position to bring that young talent through and see them evolve, see them learn, see them understand what it takes to play AFL from week to week, and still have those leaders, those core group of leaders, experienced players, teaching those younger blokes how to play.
How long is it before you hope Sammy Naismith is back in the mix there?
Oh, he's probably going to. Not knowing exactly just yet. It's a bit more of a week-to-week process with Sam, as far as he's not joining in training at the moment. He's not doing training, so I'd say it'd be a minimum of 6 weeks. So I haven't got the exact time. We're not putting a period on it because we just want to make sure he gets himself right. So we'll wait and see how he goes. But he's certainly not in the frame in the immediate term.
Clark and Phil, they seem to have fitted in pretty well.
Yeah.
Watching them over summer, and you must have been happy with what they did in the JLT.
Yeah, both really contributed, and both hard to take their opportunities and play well and show us that they'll be very good additions to our footy club. So that's why we recruited them, and we were really pleased with how they went. They've fitted in beautifully on and off the field, really added to our group off the field as well, which has been terrific. So we've been really pleased. Menzel's the same. He hasn't done a lot of training with us. He's only been training sort of the last week and a half, but he's been fantastic in his contribution to our group so far. So those blokes have been really good.
Colin O'Riordan's one of those names that impressed a lot in the JLT. Is he someone you're looking at for round one as well?
Well, he's one absolutely in that mix, and so he's had a pretty good pre-season. Really, I mean, he's really contributed. There is only 22 we've got to pick this week, and a number of them have been in pretty good form, but that doesn't mean it's all going to click either. And so we need to get that balance right this week. We'll sit down and work it out. We'll look at our best 22 for this week, but there's still 6 days later a pretty important game after that. So we'll try and get that balance as best we can, but certainly Cole's been very, very good.
Marvel Stadium, do you have a favourite Marvel superhero at all, John?
No, I don't actually. I know it's a massive surprise. I know there's a movie out at the moment that's rating very high at the box office, but I haven't seen it yet.